Greetings and welcome to your Tuesday edition of Chicago Corner. My name is Kira Macoun. I am your host tonight, and I'm super excited to be sharing the stories that we have on deck for you today. We who? Well, with me as always, I think most of the time, I don't know if I can say always, but most of the time is on the only Jerry Vassalatos and Oreo.
Well, here I
am. That's right.
And Oreo.
Simple and powerful.
That's right.
that's what you do, Jerry. Thanks for coming tonight.
I do my best.
Thanks for joining. I know you have really long days on Tuesdays, so I really appreciate that you always make the effort to join us and lend your commentary.
Because I love spending time with you and Ed.
Oh, that's so sweet. And good thing too, because we've all been talking to each other and spending a lot of time together in the recent year or two.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. It's always nice to have other people down in the trenches together to
exactly.
weather it all.
Absolutely. Wouldn't have anybody else on my team other than this guy Jerry and Mr. Ed Heller. Yo, what's up? How you doing?
Yay.
It's a wonderful Tuesday, and we're here live for you.
Doesn't he sound enthusiastic as he shares that?
Yes. Well, Ed was just sharing that he was a little tired today.
Yeah, I am a little tired. It's not going to stop me from busting out a rant later, probably.
Probably not.
But I'm happy to be here for all of you. Happy to see people in the live chat. We got Ilhanar. Mike, thank you for co-hosting the other night. That was great.
Yeah, that was great. It was so exciting to see Ilhanar and Medina Arturo on the show on Friday. That was really cool. It's always fun to put a face with a name.
I think we're going to do that a lot more where we can.
Yeah,
and Miguel H knows that his homework is due. The maps, the ward maps.
It's been due a while.
Yeah, but we kept giving him extensions because the city didn't release their version of the map yet, and they finally did that today. So we have a copy of that. We'll put it up on screen later, maybe.
Put your face this way.
Miguel's got a link to that. You got your homework assignment, man, and City of Chicago just made it a whole lot easier for you.
Exactly. Well, now you can step into that assignment with confidence that at least I think for the next 10 years or whatever, that's what the wards will be, and we'll be good to go. And anybody that puts your puzzle together will have an up-to-date version of what's going on. Brownie Bruiser for the win. Okay, so so funny about that is Ed found a video of me online that I had totally forgotten even existed. And when he showed it to me, I was like, whoa, who is that woman? I was like, oh, it's me. So, yeah, get excited about that. And then, of course, my promo video, which I actually hadn't planned on showing any of my Mud Queen stuff today, but I probably should at the end to promote it a little bit and make sure that people know that the Mud Queens of Chicago are wrestling at Reggie's Rock Club for the first time in 2019. This upcoming Saturday, it is all-American, all-female mud wrestling and rock and roll. And so you don't want to miss it. Tickets are $13, and you can have all the muddy and rock and roll fun of your dreams. Don't miss out. So, yeah. Without any further ado this evening, let's go ahead and jump into stories. You guys have anything you want to share before we jump into this first update?
No, I'm getting story browser windows up on this end, as I'm sure Ed is also. So we've got it covered from both sides.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's just jump into it.
All right, sounds good. So. I wanted to start us off tonight with a quick update before we start what I had officially created as the show, because last week we had reported on a fatal hit and run where a driver was still at large. And there has been some breaking news on that. A man has been charged with murder for the deaths of 3 men outside of South Shore's Jeffrey Pub. It's a gay bar.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as a little
We
more
reported
than
on
a week ago, and Chicago police announced that today. So let's take a look at the video of the update of this horrible tragedy.
34-year-old Tavis Dunbar is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. Investigators say witnesses helped them identify Dunbar as the driver in a hit-and-run that killed 3 people. Prosecutors say Tavis Dunbar intentionally ran his car into a group of men outside of the Jeffrey Pub more than a week ago, reaching a speed of 59 miles per hour at the time of impact.
The accelerator was depressed 99%, and the defendant never once touched the brakes prior to impact. The defendant essentially slammed on the gas pedal and drove directly into 4 human beings, killing 3 of them.
Dunbar appeared in court where he was ordered held without bond. Also in court, the mother of Jalen Osley. The 23-year-old was killed, along with 25-year-old Donald Huey and 27-year-old Devontae Vivitor.
Just to hear the story and just to see the person, it just leaves me with the thought of I don't understand why or how you could do something like that.
I don't understand. Nobody does.
Mm-mm.
Can I add something here? This is the pub that they called the police dispatcher last week, and it took the police 20 minutes to get there, despite the fact the pub said that there was an altercation inside, and the guy claimed he was going to his car to get the gun. This is the guy who decided to get in his car and run everybody over, I believe.
So this is not the guy who was in the altercation. In fact, they said that
he wasn't inside?
not seen. He was inside, but he was not part of the altercation.
Okay.
That's what they're saying in this report anyway. That's what witnesses are saying.
Let's play the rest.
Let's have a listen.
To anyone.
Authorities were able to determine Dunbar had been inside the Jeffrey Pub prior to the incident, but he had not been involved in any altercation inside the bar or outside on the street. The
Right
crash
after.
was captured on video.
Well, I know that they
Horrific
called the
scene.
cops, and it took
When I
20
go to
minutes for
social
them to
media,
get there. That's the connection that they were making.
I hope
That's
that
right.
as I'm scrolling, I don't happen to run across it.
Prosecutors say Dunbar turned himself in Monday and that he had cut his hair. While there's no motive, activists have publicly questioned whether it was an intentional homophobic attack, which took place outside the popular Southside gay bar.
We don't have any evidence to support that this was a hate crime at this time.
So not.
Prosecutors say Dunbar has a history of violence. They say that he had previously been sentenced to 2 years in prison for choking his 11-year-old younger brother. Dunbar appears in court again next month.
Okay. Yeah, that last part they just kind of tacked on the end there. Wouldn't that be the more important part of the story right there?
Just that he has a history of violence, and so I think that also probably into the narrative about like, was it a hate crime? Was it not a hate crime? Because Ed, you had mentioned like, I bet someone just to in the bar, it pissed him off, and he decided to go get his car and run people over. But with a history of violence already on his record, we already and choking a family member, right? We already see that he has the ability to, at the very least, do harm upon other people. I mean, this is obviously a huge extreme. But yeah, this is something that we'll be watching as the story goes along, because I am really curious about a motive, and it seems terrifying that someone would drive into a crowd of people at 60 miles an hour with no motive. But I guess does a motive make something better though? I guess.
Well,
I don't know if I could stand behind that statement I just made either.
There's no reason for the guy to do what he did. Period.
Yeah, not period.
No, but
exactly.
It's like, some people who probably need a better mental health support, they react to things when certain things just don't rub them the right way. You look at somebody funny, and this guy all of a sudden decides he wants to drive over you with a car. Yeah, no, that's not normal behavior. But that was a motive. He looked at me funny.
Yeah, motive enough. There were people standing outside of the bar
Hinky. What does that mean, bitch? Hinky.
Oh, strange.
Weird. Well, don't you say strange or weird? I mean, hinky, that has no meaning.
We say hinky.
I mean, he turned himself in. So,
Yeah. Which is
you
also interesting, but
you would
okay.
think at the time someone would ask, why did you do it?
I'm guessing someone did, because they said that he just hasn't told his motive. I mean, but
It'll come out in court, obviously.
yes, yes.
Well, maybe not obviously if the guy changes his
Hopefully,
plea.
I do hope so. I mean, again, but like to Jerry's earlier point, at the end of the day, there is no legitimate reason to ever do anything like this. So, so we'll keep watching it, and we'll keep you updated as this story unfolds. We got several people in the chat. Eleanor Miguel. I think we already said hi to y'all. Hey, Kathy. We have Pat. Pat in the chat. Ooh, that rhymes. Look at me. And also, I got to talk to Kathy yesterday on the phone for a good hour and a half, getting to know each other, connecting, building power together. And she was telling me about the action that she's been involved in over at the Weiss parking lot. Uptown is not for sale. So keep fighting the wealthy powers that be, and let them know that our health is also or should not be for sale. But unfortunately, in this country, it is. And I'm glad to have Kathy as one of our allies. So
all the time, absolutely. She's always sharing stories with us that don't always come across our radar.
I love it.
That's the valuable contribution we appreciate from our viewers.
Yeah, it makes this gig much easier and much more enjoyable when we have a bunch of like unofficial producers feeding us stories and saying, "Hey, here's an idea." Unfortunately, they don't always all make the show because we're limited in time, and just my ability to make sure that I've researched everything fully to my comfort. But it is always good to have the excess information as well. So I always read the stories whether they make it to the show or not. Just so Kathy knows that, I'm sure, but the rest of our viewers too.
And just to give you a little idea on how the sausage is made, I mean, I'm throwing stories at these guys all week. It's I'm looking and seeing, okay, that's an interesting story. Let's add that to the pile. And then they got to go and whittle them down and say, okay, well, I got like 300 things on this list here. What 20 am I going to try to talk about, and what 5 are we probably only going to make it through?
Exactly. Well,
what's funny to me is
go ahead, Jerry.
Well, what's funny to me is that I usually prep the Friday show on Friday because I'm doing other stuff during the week, juggling other stuff. So Friday, I'm starting to look at the news cycle and I'm finding some stuff that catches my interest that I think, yeah, we can talk about this tonight. Then I go to Slack, and of course, Ed found it ahead of me because he's always got his finger on the pulse of the news with plus more. So he helps fill in the gaps of stuff and it's cool because it's like we're definitely tuned into the same kind of content that we want to talk about.
That's what I've been finding too. And it's so funny because today, when the breaking news of the guy with the hit and run came across my watch, it was on my watch that I read it, and I just assumed it was Ed that had posted it to the Slack, which is so funny. So I go into Slack and I go, Ed, where's the story that you posted about the update of the hit and run? And he goes, I didn't post that story. And I was
I saw that.
Totally made the assumption
I
that
took
was
5
Ed.
minutes. Yeah, but then I took 5 minutes and I found an update on there, so we shared it for you today. But
technology is always gaslighting me. Like I really feel like I'm constantly being gaslit by technology, and so
we are. We are, Kira. It's just it's not always how you expect it is gaslighting.
Right.
Totally. But yeah, we are definitely in an information age where we're getting all this information so fast, and if like some big asteroid comes and the big electromagnetic pulse knocks all the power out, people are not going to know what's going on. And then they'll start to fund the post office properly.
Yep. And Pat's wondering what is going on over at Weiss Hospital. And basically, from what I understand, which is what Kathy shared, is that it is being purchased by basically real estate companies on a for-profit reasons, obviously. And through those efforts, there is a lot not being done for populations that are disproportionately undone, basically. And so
Not
they're
served.
trying to
Not served.
Not served. There we go. Thank you, Jerry. And so they, Kathy and her group Access. Kathy, you'll have to remind me of the name of the group that's doing that action over at Weiss Hospital. They're out there protesting those efforts to create more profit off of our healthcare and our suffering. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's actually BlackRock, but yeah, basically BlackRock.
Yeah, the same kind of interest,
Yep.
that are putting profits before people.
And then Pat says, yeah, just what we need. Another for-profit hospital. Yeah. So that is what's going on over at Weiss. Check it out.
Speaking of medical transitions, Kira.
Speaking of medical transitions, yeah, I know, right? Good, Jerry. Nice catch. I didn't even catch that segue. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the money that was coming to Illinois due to a lawsuit against Big Pharma, and more specifically Johnson & Johnson. So here is some new revelations about Big Pharma and how they've been basically feeding the coffers of our Illinois representatives. In 2017, Ohio's Attorney General sued Johnson & Johnson and other drug makers, saying they had wrongly led prescribers to believe that opioids were not addictive, that addiction was an easy thing to overcome, or that addiction could actually be treated by taking even more opioids. In 2019, the government lawyers in Oklahoma called Johnson & Johnson the kingpin of the opioid crisis, likening the pharmaceutical giant to a Mexican drug cartel. In 2021, New York's top law enforcement figure declared that opioids wreaked havoc on countless communities and that Johnson & Johnson helped fuel this fire. But Illinois politicians keep taking campaign money from Johnson & Johnson and other companies, paying $26 billion to settle lawsuits that accuse them of fueling the opioid crisis, campaign finance records are showing. Illinois Senate President Don Harmon, who is my representative in Oak Park, is the most prominent among them. He's received 2,000... Exactly. He's received $2,000 last September from a Johnson & Johnson Political Action Committee, $2,000 in 2020 from a Johnson & Johnson fund, $2,000 in December from Fidelity Consulting Group, LLC, a Rosemont lobbying firm that lobbies for Johnson & Johnson, $7,500 over the past 2 years from firms that lobby on behalf of the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, and Washington, D.C., trade group to which Johnson & Johnson and other opioid sellers belong. Earlier this year, Johnson & Johnson was among 4 companies that agreed to pay $26 billion in these lawsuits, with an estimated $760 million that was destined for Illinois. And they were accused of making money off of the highly addictive painkillers while ignoring the health and well-being of users. Asked about why he keeps taking that money, a spokesman for the Illinois Democrat, rather than answering the question, says, over 2 decades in office, President Harmon has tirelessly fought for progressive policies that make the wealthy and the corporations pay their fair share, lower healthcare costs for working families, and to protect consumers from abuse. No donation. No donation from any source will ever compromise his values. But I mean, you guys know what's
sorry, I jumped on there.
Yeah, which
Sorry.
values? His checking account values?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it wouldn't compromise his checking account values. It would just increase them. So maybe that's what he's talking about. But you guys know what's coming next, right? So I went ahead and looked up his votes regarding legislation dealing with drug costs, R&D and otherwise, right? And like, I only have so much time.
That's sexy. She's got her glasses and she's doing the research, and and it was a compliment. Oh, I'm going to get pulled in by HR. Sorry, it was a compliment. It wasn't meant to be sexist or misogynist.
Oh yeah, no. It didn't show up for me that way. No
Okay.
worries. So of course I was like, well, what are some of the most recent votes maybe in the state of Illinois that have to do with drug costs, right? And so I went ahead and looked at some, there were 3 bills that were actually passed last year and signed into law by J.B. Pritzker last year, and they enacted this January 2022, and that was House Bill 119, which basically legally allows us to repurpose pharmaceuticals so they can be resold to folks who are in need. It limits the out-of-pocket costs for consumers. Well, no, that's HB 1745. And then a third one was true retail price of the drug will be provided to customers. So those are the 3 bills that actually passed in 2021. And I just got really curious about what Don Harmon's votes were on those bills. So I looked them up and I saw that the Senate had actually voted on the Senate Bill 1682, which is the one that allows people to see the true retail price provided by customers. And that was voted on April 21st, 2021. And Don Harmon's name isn't on the list of people who voted. So he was not present, I'm assuming. And then I looked up the other 2, which were actually voted on the same day, May 27th, 2021, and also which was Bill number 119 and Bill number 1745 of the 3 that I listed. And his name wasn't on either of those either, which I thought was really strange. I was like, did he just not show up for those votes? And I just thought that seemed a little too screwy to be true. And so I actually called.
Oh, Kira, we know what it was.
Hanky. What does that mean, bitch? Hanky.
Oh, strange.
Weird.
We're getting a lot of use out of that drop-in.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought that was a little screwy. And so I actually called his office and I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
I just need to get information because I just can't imagine that that's true, right? I'm just like, that seems a little too clear cut. And so I called the office, and the dude that answers the phone is basically, I don't know, he just seemed really scattered and really confused and really nervous about the questions I was asking about these bills and the votes.
He probably thought you were a Fed.
They don't expect you to actually hold people accountable for their actions when they get elected, do they?
I know, right? Would anybody actually go and see if the statement, these donations are not having to do? So anyway, so I called him and the guy was like, let me give you a call back. And I was like, okay, sure. Do you need my number? Wait, don't hang up. Do you need my number? And he's like, oh yeah. So I give him my number. And he did end up calling me back. And he said that they had all been voted on at that point, but then they had all been voted on again in August. And I told him, I'm not seeing that anywhere. And he gave me a link, which is the second set of links for each one of the bills in the show notes. And it's actually a pretty good little reference that he gave me, which is thelegiscan.com. And it's super intuitive and easy to use. But after I found that in the August votes, Harmon was present for all 3, and he voted yes for all 3.
That's what I'm seeing right now, because I was trying to bring up that web. I was actually looking at all the screens to see where he was absent. And aside from the PDFs, the Legiscan website wasn't showing him absent. So I'll show it, though. It's still a cool tool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I really like it, and I'm glad that this guy had led me in that direction. I mean, I do think it's pretty strange that he wasn't there for the initial votes on this legislation, and where was he on those 2 separate days? But based on the 3 bills, and this is just 3 bills out of a career that started back in 2003 for Don Harmon. These are just 3 bills and examples where I'm like, okay. I guess we'll give him space on that because he did in fact vote yes on those bills. And again, I would still be curious about those missing votes earlier in the year, and it's still something that gives me a little bit of pause. And according to the Illinois State Board of Election, Harmon's gotten a total of about $150,000 from the pharmaceutical industry during his political career.
Oh, no, it's more. It's more.
Oh, from the pharmaceutical industry alone.
I've got from that
money.
Star link, I found other links inside to followthemoney.org.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the top industries tab from him running as a candidate.
Yeah.
And while majority of his donations are basically unions and labor, he's got there are hospitals and nursing homes I'm seeing gave him $1.5 million.
Health is the third. Wow. Health is the third industry there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got let's see, gambling casinos gave him a little more than $500,000. He's got a number of different, like the insurance industry gave him $374,000. Let's see, where's the pharmaceuticals? $229,629.
Oh yeah, so it's more than $150,000. Yep.
Health professionals is a separate category, $195,383. Another category called health services, $152,000.
Damn.
So it adds up.
It sure
He's raking it in for sure.
Yeah, this guy, he's doing fine. He's got millions.
This is such a crock of shit.
Yeah, he's got millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be
a fucking bitch, am I right?
for corporations. Yeah.
I have not seen that one yet.
That was new.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, needless to say, yeah, our politicians. I mean, even the ones that people say are quote unquote good, they're making millions of dollars. So clearly, there's corruption going on.
Right.
None of these politicians, no one in public service should be making that kind of money.
Absolutely not.
Because you know what happens when they get caught and they go to jail and they get out, they're stuck doing weddings.
Everybody in the wholesale block, the jail has arrived. Shifty Henry said to Buck, for heaven's sake.
Good old go. Oh,
that reminds me, we got to do a karaoke night. I don't know if we're going to live stream it. I don't know if we'll live stream it, but we definitely got to do a karaoke night.
Oh, we should live stream. We can do it with our phones and our Wi-Fi, right?
Karaoke. That's right. We'll find Jerry. Never mind. I'm not going to make the joke. I'm going to keep my mouth closed. Okay.
If we do it on a Friday, we'll call it Jerryoke.
Ooh, I'm in.
Well, you haven't heard me here. You haven't heard me sing "Sweet Home Chicago," but you got to get me really liquored up to do it.
I'll get you real liquored up.
Okay,
Jerry.
It's a problem. It's a plan.
Oh man. So yeah, but it's not just Don Harmon, right? We know that the system is completely rotten to the core. So you can bet your ass he's not the only one who's taking this dirty money, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yes!
That's right. Illinois House Speaker Emanuel or Chris Welch, who assumed the top legislative post in January 2021, accepted $2,000 in campaign contributions from Johnson & Johnson in November, $1,500 in 2020, and $500 in 2019. Welch also got $750 in 2020 from Kessin. Welch and his aides, pardon me, a little belch. Welch and his aides would not answer questions about those contributions. The Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers Group gave more than $300,000 over the past 2 decades to Illinois politicians, including nearly $140,000 in campaign funds, which again, I question these numbers based on what Ed is finding on the, what is it called? The money, followthemoney.org. So definitely check that out too. Don't take just this report's word for it. So $140,000 to campaign funds that were controlled by Welch's predecessor, former House Speaker Michael Madigan. Sarah Sutton, a spokeswoman for the trade group, says we engage with policymakers from both sides of the aisle who have a wide array of healthcare opinions and priorities, so that we can sway those opinions and priorities. Duh.
But we all know that their main opinion is that their wallet is way too light.
Yes, exactly. And then Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul, whose office is overseeing litigation in Illinois against the pharmaceutical industry, took $1,000 campaign contribution from the Pharma trade group in 2006 and $500 from Johnson & Johnson in 2015. Both while he was in the General Assembly. Elected to his current post in 2018, he took contributions during that campaign from pharmaceutical firms, including $500 from AbbVie.
Hey, they make that no tears shampoo, and I really like it. So I'm okay with those donations.
That's right. That's right. As long as you can make sure that my baby's eyes aren't burning. Opioid crisis, what? Right?
Well, there was a flip side to the whole opioid crisis thing. First of all, these representatives let the opioid crisis start. Then once they got caught with their hands in the cookie jar and had to push back and make it look like they cared, they started enacting such draconian measures for doctors in regards to who could get opioids for pain management. Not everybody using opioids is an addict. I mean, I can tell you that myself. When I had my shoulder surgeries, anytime I've had a surgery and I have to go on opioids for pain management, when I'm done, I'm done. I can walk away from them. But there have been those cases where my pain went longer, and my doctor told me, well, we can't prescribe too much because, we're under restrictions, and it's just, you have no idea how many people who have got pain management issues, living daily with pain, are sideswept by the fact that they can't get the pain management that they need because our legislators are, completely on each extreme, instead of like doing things ethically and honestly and at least letting doctors by a case-by-case assessment determine, the guy's had 2 shoulder surgeries and it was a revision. So he probably, it's going to take a little bit longer to heal and manage that. I mean, I'm not the only one. That's a minor thing. But I just do find it interesting that how many people's lives are impacted on the front end of this and then on the back end of it in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, just a few more companies that got in on this game. Like I said, there were 4 companies that were the highest in giving to Illinois representatives. Last month, AbbVie, which is based in North Chicago, agreed to pay more than $2 billion to settle lawsuits over how its Allergan unit, which it bought in 2020, marketed opioids. Teva Pharmaceuticals, which bought part of Allergan in 2016, announced a settlement agreement last month that could see it pay more than $4 billion in claims over opioids. And Harman got $25,000 in campaign contributions from AbbVie since 2013, including $5,000 in June and $15,000 in 2021. AbbVie has given Welch $21,500, including $5,000 and $15,000 in 2021. And AbbVie, which like Teva is a member of the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, the trade group that has given heavily to Illinois politicians, gave $1,000 to then state rep Christian Mitchell in 2018. After Pritzker took office in early 2019, he named Mitchell as one of his deputy governors. So this guy, even though he's an ex-representative, he's still in leadership and he's still helping to make decisions. And his pockets are also lined with pharmaceutical drug money. And so, just imagining that these pharmaceutical drug companies were like, oh, I don't know, just regular drug dealers, and what that might look like if your more stereotypical drug dealer was lining the pockets of our politicians, and what that would look like, and how that up for people in their systems. So, any other thoughts on this story, y'all?
I mean, I think it pretty much speaks. Look, are we breaking new ground here? No. Our legislators and elected representatives are, it's the bank's open for them. I mean, they're lining their pockets. They're finding every way to do it. And right in light of day, we've got these websites that are revealing what they're doing, who they're taking the bribes from, who they're taking. They're not payoffs though. I don't know, man. I always like to see, my solution is torches, pitchforks, and guillotines. I just don't know when.
Jerry, I'm there with you. Right?
Are you there? Yeah.
I'll be shoulder to shoulder with you. So independentvoterparty.org, I think that one of you already put it up on the screen, says harm in not voting on the initial Pharma bill most likely means there was a number of changes to dilute it as much as possible. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it might mean, and this is totally speculation, and that's why I didn't say it initially, but while we're speculating, I was thinking that he might have been waiting to see if it was going to be like something that passes. And that if it looked like it was going to be passing with flying colors, which it did, then he would just vote yes for it because it would be too stark to be voting no on something like that.
By the way, for those in the live chat who need to be a little bit pushed and inspired to throw dollars at us every now and then, like we're, dancers up on working the pole, independentvoterparty.org, Dominic Palella contributed $500 to the operating expenses of Chicago Corner. We got a chance to see Dominic at the Hardlands Media 99 Perspectives open house this past Sunday. I felt like Vito Corleone. I got the envelope. Dominic, how kind of you. No, Dominic's always been a big supporter of the show, as well as activities over at Hardlands Media, and I was flabbergasted because it was not solicited. However, I was very humbled and really, really proud that Dominic has a lot of faith in what we're doing over here, so much so that, he put his money where his mouth was to help us out. We're trying to undertake a lot of initiatives here with putting together and financing a camera kit for the field, so we can go out and cover protests off of our iPhones and handle things a little bit more professionally, and have the resources here to, have a few bucks to do things right, to support the things we want to do with the limited resources that we have. So Dominic, again, thank you so very, very much, not only for that contribution, but for your constant contributions here in the live chat that are very, very focused and very, very relevant to the stuff we're talking about.
Informative, absolutely. Yes.
Chicago isn't beyond saving. Give me more time. There are good people here.
And Dominic is one of them.
Yes. Pat Brannigan shares, they should be like Minnie Pearl and wear a price tag on their heads. Now I'm showing your age. No, you're not. I remember Minnie Pearl with the price tags on her hats. Or just, start having corporate patches all over their suit jackets, like NASCAR racers. Show who they're getting paid off by. And Kathy, yes, I know Kathy is tossing money in the chat for her leprechaun fixes.
That's right.
And that's just as valuable. So Kathy, we appreciate that too.
And we're happy to provide.
I like this. I was just picturing it to Don Cherry. Well, I want to say I appreciate your contribution to everything we do here. Some other day I'm going to ask you for a favor. No, this means I won't have to ask you for a favor another day. Thanks, Tom.
That was pretty good, Jerry.
I do my best. I've been rolling out the voices over at the National Hardlands Media Show on Tuesday. I was doing Kissinger. I do Trump. Anywhere I can throw in a little imitation, I try to do it. So it's fun. I just automatically shift into it because they're such caricatures.
They are.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Now I'm just getting warmed up. That's true. I haven't had too much of an opportunity to do my Al Pacino. Al Pacino Frappuccinos. Get them at Dunkin' Donuts.
I don't do too many voices too well. I do Sarah Palin okay.
Oh, do you? I've never heard that. Come on. Don't hold out on us.
I can see Russia from my house. Anyway. All right.
You betcha.
You betcha. Absolutely. All right. Jerry,
I won't. I'm all about animal rights.
Exactly. Especially, those really expensive horses that apparently that horse was in that movie. Okay. So Chicago is cutting precincts. So let's dive into this story.
Speaking of corruption.
I know, right? Election officials have long, yeah, and this is an interesting story because a lot of people have a positive spin on it, and I'm really eager to see how this all turns out. Election officials have long complained that Chicago has too many precincts, and the new electoral map is designed to address rising costs of election operations, as well as the changing behavior of voters who are increasingly voting early at central polling places or mailing in their ballots. Officials with the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners said that the recalibration is expected to save as much as $2 million because the board will have supply costs and won't need to hire as many election judges to work the polls on election day. A spokesman for the board also said the cuts will help election officials focus on ensuring that more precinct polling locations are compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Work with the city has been slow to address. Work the city, I should say, has been slow to address. A Tribune analysis shows that fewer than 20% of the polling places in June's primary were ADA compliant. So that's pretty rough, and that's very, very low. But the drastic, what's that?
Too low.
Oh, far too low.
We're the silent minority that everybody misses. I mean, not me so much, but a lot of other people with disabilities are. I try to like camouflage myself, put my leg on, walk around. Nobody knows I'm disabled. But there are others who are not as fortunate as me, who have far greater mobility challenges that they are not serving. And there's probably a reason for that. You know, if you don't make it easy for people to come in and vote, then, you know, you don't have people who possibly voting against you, especially since you're not supporting initiatives for healthcare for those same people.
Right. Exactly. The folks that do have those issues are probably coming in to vote for in their own interests. And we know that a lot of people in leadership do not have political will to help this population of folks. Can
I just jump in about the last couple paragraphs that you read about what election officials have been complaining about?
Yes. Please,
they're complaining that Chicago has too many precincts.
Yeah, because they don't want too many people to vote.
And they're complaining that, we don't have enough resources for, to hire people to make sure that we have like fair and proper elections. They don't. They're
carving up the ward maps to make it difficult.
We can't prioritize. I know a lot of people have already basically lost faith in the electoral process, but if anyone wants to actually regain that faith, you want to have more people making sure that the elections are done properly. You don't want to start looking at that as a budgetary concern for your city. That should be the last of your priorities for cutting a budget. You should actually be adding money to that. In fact, cut your police budget in half and take 1/4 of that and put it toward election integrity. That means paying people a living freaking wage to be election judges and to be people who are making sure that the elections are done fairly. Mm-hmm. You don't cut these corners and say, look, we're so tired of throwing money at this thing that nobody is excited about, nobody's voting in, and you guys have awards are closing and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's because you guys don't want people to vote. That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
And that infuriates me. Because you shouldn't have election officials, shouldn't have people who are in the Board of Election Commissioners super happy about cutting funds for election integrity.
Yeah, and it's pretty drastic. I was pretty alarmed at how big the number is. They're cutting 1,040 polling places. That's a fuck ton. I don't need to tell you guys that, but that's a lot. So there are 2,069 previously, right? And we're going to go down to 1,290. So, it's a really big jump. It certainly makes me nervous about what elections in person might look like. The precinct reductions were included in legislation that was passed last year through the Illinois General Assembly and was signed into law in November by J.B. Pritzker. The precinct provisions raised the limits of vote precinct from 800 to 1,800 in Cook County and to 1,200 for every other county in the state, which is also probably not great because the other counties in the state are probably a little more spread out than Cook County too. So I feel like people are going to have to drive further in like more rural areas to get to their precincts. So, you know, if they now are at 1,200 instead of 800 per precinct. And many of the other counties in Illinois have already implemented the changes. So we're actually a bit behind on this because the city election officials had to wait for the city ward boundaries to be drawn, as we know was a whole process that took months longer than expected because of the controversial remapping process. So Ed, you have up the Chicago Board of Election, the new precinct maps for, oh, is that you, Jerry?
I got it, but I can bring the other one up. Yeah, I was actually getting the other link up. So
I got
one. Yeah,
one.
there's one of those pages has which precinct gets how many polling places. That was what I was.
Is this the one?
That's the voter register turnout, which we can definitely look at right now. It doesn't matter which order we go in.
Maybe I missed a link there because I was going through the links for this particular store. Oh, I see. It's the Illinois policy. No.
It was one that Ed had added in the.
Ed added it. Okay.
Oh, I have
the maps. Let me see
maps.
if I can find it.
I don't have that.
The map, if you scroll down, it has the listings of how many polling places are in each of the precincts.
I think I found it.
Not the map I have, but then I was saving that map for
Jerry
Miguel.
This is what I was looking for. Thank you, Jerry. I'm glad someone found it. So this shows each ward, new count, old count, and the difference for each of the wards.
Wow, cut literally practically in half.
Yep, exactly. Well, that's why I said it's a really stark difference here. But we are going from 800 people per precinct to 1,800, which is more than double.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a boatload.
I don't feel bad about my earlier rant now.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Indeed. So so I went in a few different directions on this, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. And I got curious about, okay, like who got more precincts cut and what are their demographics? You know, always a good question. And with the new citywide map.
Hold on. What's it say on 35?
35, 22.
Down to 22 from 31.
From 31.
Minus 9. Is that yours?
Yeah, well, it is now.
The biggest one was 34.
How I got cut out of my ward.
If you look right above it, 34 got 33 taken, and that was one of the biggest dips. Was the 34th ward.
Oh, and look at
2069 down to 1,290.
Yeah, that's right.
I was Ward 33, which I think just lost 11? Am I seeing that right?
Sorry,
I don't have.
Jerry,
I don't
you're
have a full.
scrolling too fast.
I don't have a full.
My mouse
screen
is
here.
like a little hinky. All right, here we go.
Is it a little hinky? Why can't you use words I understand? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
11.
minus 11.
Yeah,
okay. So I got curious about what the demographics of the wards that lost the most were, which were the 34th ward, which is actually, it used to be a far south side ward, but it's being moved to like West Loop, South Loop neighborhoods, which those neighborhoods are majority white. So if that is the case, then
it's the case.
What's that?
It's the case.
Well, no, the new ward is now majority white. So because I was like 34th ward, that's a majority black ward, and it used to be, but in the new cut up, it's no longer. It will be majority white. It seems based on the neighborhoods that it's listed, and then the 14th ward on the southwest side. I went into that, and the 14th ward is majority Hispanic. And then the 24th ward, which is majority black. So I guess there, if we're going to bright side this, it's got an even distribution. But what's really interesting about these three wards that got the biggest, basically like punch in the gut, is that the 34th Alderman, Carrie Austin, has been under federal indictment for bribery charges and is not running for re-election. So there was probably no dog in that fight. In the 14th ward, Alderman Ed Burke, who's the longest serving alderman in Chicago history, and really
we call him Boss Burke. Boss Burke.
Or the
He's
Burger
scheduled to go on
King.
trial for
Burger
federal
King, yeah.
corruption. Yeah. Oh, I like that, Burger King. He's scheduled to go on trial for federal corruption next year and hasn't announced whether he's running for re-election. And the 24th ward, Alderman Monique Scott was, put in because of nepotism, because that was her brother's ward. And so these are all the 3 wards that got the biggest cuts kind of feel like the wards that didn't really have an alderman there to pitch a fit about losing precincts, which is really painful.
Yeah.
When you think about that's what is going to be the decider of whether or not you have an available precinct to you, or whether or not you're going to have to Uber to your precinct or whatever. So I do think that it makes a really big difference, the why behind how all of this came to be and who gets the biggest shaft in all of this. And then this was also interesting. There's just this is kind of a mixed bag, because I feel like our representatives are and the election officials are yes, we needed this. And then we as voters who have stood in line for hours to vote are no, please. I really like that my precinct was 3 blocks away, because that is really convenient.
Every election, I think I know where I'm supposed to go to vote. Then I find out they changed the location.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if I have to do it later in the day after work, I might miss the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
They used to basically just, put them in the same place all the time. And usually it's you walk into a hallway that's usually a school or something. And then you're just in a room where you're voting, and convenient, repetitive, voters know what to do. They just said, oh yeah, well, we don't want that many voters this time around, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know why. Other than you end up probably with more of the status quo when less people vote.
100%.
Boys and girls, don't ever argue with the big dog. Big dog is always right.
Yeah, and then one of the other arguments. Ed Burke. One of the other arguments.
No, I was referring to Ed. The big dog's always right.
Our Ed, not Ed Burke. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought Burger King was who you were talking about. Okay, so according to IllinoisPolicy.org report, Illinois could actually see more votes in the general elections as a result of vote by mail services. So I think that's largely what representatives and election board officials are counting on, is that people are voting by mail. And new research is showing that states that automatically send eligible voters mail-in ballots while still providing in-person voting centers have seen an increase in voter turnout up to 2.2%. If Illinois' permanent vote-by-mail initiative were to experience similar results, voter turnout in Illinois would likely increase by 206,000 to 216,000 voters in each general election. Studies of states that conduct all mail voting report an increase in their voter turnout of 8 to 10%. But I also don't know about that, because I looked at the numbers for voter turnout in the last few elections, and Jerry, that was actually the first thing that you had put up. And I didn't really feel like there was all that much of a trend, because we know that mail-in voting and early voting by mail or whatever really became prominent because of COVID in 2020. And if you look at the numbers that are listed here, I don't really our last primary election in June was only a 0.7% turnout there. But if you look at the last primary election, it was up to 25%.
Look at
and
how
then
much
I don't really see that there is a trend in increased voting necessarily. I do see a
Yeah.
trend in increased voting in general elections versus primary elections.
I think it might be a little skewed with the data of the last couple years as far as mail-in voting goes, because we know that there has been a concerted effort by some individuals to sabotage the United States Postal Service.
Mm-hmm.
And along with that comes the stigma of people not knowing if it's going to be reliable chain of custody to mail in your ballots through the US mail.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people used to not worry about that. People used to not question that because you could trust the US Postal Service. Now, the US Postal Service needs to be restored.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be improved. It needs to be supported, and people need to stop messing with it.
Well, that was a concerted effort putting DeJoy in charge by Trump.
Yeah,
to interfere with the general.
But we can be quite sure that it wasn't just Trump. This has been decades-long attempts by people on both sides of that duopoly to sabotage and even attempt to privatize the United States Postal Service. We know that these people, they have interests in all the other mail delivery services, and the ones that don't realize the value the United States Postal Service has for that last mile delivery, and the ones that don't realize that the U.S. Postal Service is a thing that is guaranteed by the United States government.
Yeah, but you know what, though, Ed? These efforts have shaken people's faith in USPS, because I got to tell you, when I go into I can't tell you how many bills have been lost that I've mailed, stolen, packages that are reported delivered to me, then show up 2 or 3 days later because they want to keep their metrics on track so that they don't have strikes against them, the carriers with priority stuff that might even end up somewhere else. I've been using UPS all the time. I hate to have to say that, but what they've been doing has been a blow to the services of USPS, where a lot of us are just like, we can't wait for things to change better, which is why I use alternative options like UPS. I constantly file complaints to Schakowsky's office, my representative, about postal delivery in my ward, and also to the postmaster down in Chicago. And I know I'm not the only one, sending them emails all the time about this stuff, and nothing changes. And I can't understand, with all the people that are probably complaining and everybody's faith being shaken in the U.S. Postal Service, even, I would imagine our Democratic, representatives, as much as I'm not, thrilled with their other things, I think that they would want, mail-in ballots and voting to work, but they're, here in Illinois, they're not doing anything about it to improve the Postal Service. So I just don't know. I'm at my wit's end with the U.S. Postal Service because of what we're talking about here with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I know we kind of went off the rail on a Postal Service rant,
but it's related. It's related to the
it's absolutely, because that's what they're counting on. They're counting on that.
Yeah,
that's why they're confident in this, because read this article. They are confident this is the way to go, and they are slicing basically the number of precincts in half, which I think is a massive step. And so, and especially with seeing what we've been seeing with lines and waiting on voting day, could just be, even if they had all the best intentions and were really counting on this mail-in thing, blah, 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 it's not going to be a good look when, people are wrapping buildings and waiting to vote for hours. Because if people have to travel hours to get to their precinct, or if people need to wait hours to vote, that is by definition voter suppression. So, Europe.
Colluded voter suppression.
All right. Let's see. And with the new map finalized, the board has just over 2 months to find new polling places, locations, or confirm existing ones. The board expects the process to be complete.
Well, we're frozen with Kira.
By the end of September. Rush.
We lost you for a few seconds there.
I know. I don't know what.
But
was heard.
before we get back into that, we have a comment from Pat Brannigan. Who said
Oh, sorry, I was jumping on something else. Go ahead.
Or it was this one. Oh, that was it. It said doesn't the USPS have to fund their pension fund 75 years out?
That's accurate.
I think they actually fixed that back in March.
Did they?
Yeah, there is. I got a story from. There was the USPS Fairness Act that was passed in March that ended. I believe it ended the pre-funding for the
that would be
retirement
amazing because
stuff.
I was not aware of that, but I was aware of the 75 years of funding, the retirement, basically.
Well, that and also new employees are no longer having their healthcare benefits paid by the agency when they retire. So I think some of this stuff looks like is getting shifted over to just federal funding, but we'll have to look into the details on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even with that gone or modified, we still have all this shenanigans going on in the USPS. Yes, DeJoy has to go. Probably most of his lackeys need to go too. How many of them remain in the Board of Governors, we don't know. Biden, I think, appointed 5 new ones. They have done nothing.
Oh, really? He's appointed them, and they haven't stepped any closer to getting rid of DeJoy, huh?
No.
Awesome.
So,
shocker.
What are they waiting for?
Shocked?
Are they waiting for right before the midterms to do something about the post office? Are they going to wait too long?
No, they're not going to do shit, dude.
Are they going to let DeJoy trash some more sorting machines? I don't know.
Yeah. My bet is nothing.
No, I'm just getting warmed up.
Oh, man. All right.
So, yeah,
anyway,
good luck to all of us in the upcoming elections.
Just be sure to vote early so that you don't have to deal with any lines or...
And in Chicago, we vote early and vote often. Sometimes in the same election.
Sometimes, every now and again. All right. Next story, guys.
I don't have it queued up, so stand by, unless you do, Ed.
What is the next story?
I don't. Well, we're going to be talking about.
No, I got it. Union busting in Chicago.
Oh, that thing.
Now let's see if my paywall killer works here. Give me just a second.
Paywall killer, kill it right.
If it doesn't, I can roll it up.
All right, so we'll take a little commercial break until I get that up. So stand by, everybody.
What's that? Do you have insurance on this car? No. It must be Eagle Man.
I've got something for you.
Oh, look at those low rates.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not actually sponsored by Eagle Insurance, but those are the kind of commercials that we get to encounter in the Chicagoland area for some of you who are tuning in from out of state.
Mm-hmm.
But it gave me enough time. But it gave me enough time to get this.
It gave him enough time to get this queued up.
That's an oldie but a goodie. Oldie.
I'm sure a lot of people probably think that's like a spoof commercial. No, it wasn't.
Real.
No, it's for real. It's for real.
Really, and I think they've even been showing that like within a few years.
Yeah.
I was introduced to that commercial by my husband who grew up in Oak Park. And so he was like, you never saw the Eagle Man commercials? And so he showed me, it was that commercial. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This was an actual commercial. He's like, yep.
Kira, before we go to the story, I got one more for a little entertainment break.
I'm in.
It's uploading. I didn't have it queued, but okay, here we go. Ready? All right,
that
here we go.
Is worth money.
Strap in.
We got baby, spare ribs, roast beef, hot links, and more to give. Cube steaks, hot dogs, real tips, ooh, pork chops, chicken wings, and chicken wings too. Give me a wave if you like catfish. Jump up if it's your favorite dish. Time Tommy likes ribs and chicken wings. If you like you, let me hear you scream. Wave for catfish. Scream for ribs. Ooh, oink.
What a fabulous way to advertise the slaughtering of pigs and cattle.
I just love, the thing that stood out to me was the guy with the giant plastic bag where he's shoving a bunch of chicken wings into it. I'm like,
Oh my
dude,
God.
how many wings
I'm
you
dying.
got gonna cook this weekend? Like
I like that.
100
No.
chicken wings.
My favorite is
That's the sound of the cows, the cattle and the pigs like screaming for their lives.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I guess we'll have to get some mascots to go dancing around with flavor improving mugs.
Yeah.
I've got a big cat mask here if anybody wants to wear it and dance around with the mug. So
maybe our mayor would want to dress up with us and dance around.
Oh my God! Yeah, like as if we need more of that.
I mean, the cow and the pig definitely like furries, right? I mean, is that offensive? Is that offensive to say?
No. It's pretty much an axiom of pop culture now.
My eyes keep watering because I keep laughing so hard. Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on. I think that every single time anybody gives us a super chat, I'm just going to say, moving on.
I love it. That's great. And people who haven't seen tonight's episode are going to not know what the hell's going on.
No. They'll be like, why does Kira moo and oink? She should have higher self-esteem. All right. So, all right. Seriously now, people. Serious stories.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have to introduce this segment properly. We now enter the portion of the show called Corporations Behaving Badly.
All right. So here we go. Starbucks violated labor laws by threatening and interrogating Chicago baristas at stores where workers were attempting to unionize. Local labor board officials alleged in complaints filed against the company. Nobody's surprised.
Let's stop for a moment. Interrogating baristas. It sounds like something that would happen in a South American dictatorship, right? But this is Starbucks.
I thought that you were going to say it sounds like something that would happen in South Park, and I was like, probably.
Oh no, South America. We're interrogating the baristas.
Yes. Have you dedicated your unwavering loyalty to the mermaid on the cup?
Do you remember this was like decades ago, how they basically changed the Starbucks logo? Because it used to be the mermaid and the fins were going out this way. And clearly she was a mermaid, right? But there were people that pointed to that. Well, that's offensive. She's spread-eagled. It looks like she's like encouraging people to, do the deed with her. So they decided to like zoom in on her to cut out. I'm just like, that anybody's focusing on the Starbucks mermaid logo is like it's an invitation to fuck her, that they've got to change the logo. It just blew my mind.
It's silly. It's silly.
Absolutely silly and repressed and just outrageous.
There you go. That's exactly right, Jerry. It's completely repressed and it's ridiculous. And I agree. So, all right. So the complaint involves the coffee giant's actions of two of its Chicago stores, one in Edgewater, my old stomping grounds, which was one of the first in Chicago to unionize, and one in Palmer Square, where employees voted against the forming of a union. The regional director of the National Labor Relations Board in Chicago alleged that Starbucks violated labor law by threatening employees with the loss of benefits and wage increases for organizing, interrogating workers of the union, forbidding workers from wearing pro-union face masks and T-shirts, and telling workers that organizing was futile, according to a complaint filed Tuesday with the agency.
Land of the free.
Organizing is futile.
Land of the free.
I know. Chicago's regional director issued a complaint against Starbucks at the end of July regarding the company's actions at another store that unionized. That complaint alleges Starbucks managers at the company store at 1174 East 55th Street in Hyde Park threatened employees with reduction in pay, loss of benefits, and changes to working conditions. So this all is sounding familiar, right? Shared unsolicited views on union activity during mandatory one-on-one meetings with employees, and disciplined an employee for testifying to the labor board at a representation hearing. The complaint alleges that labor law violations began in late January, shortly after workers at the store filed for a union election. Baristas at the Hyde Park store voted narrowly to unionize in June. Starbucks Workers United alleges that Starbucks has fired more than 80 pro-union workers across the country, according to Casey Moore, a Starbucks Workers United Communications Committee. And I don't know if you guys heard about the federal judge that found that Starbucks has to reinstate 7 workers it illegally fired in a Memphis store. Baristas at the store unionized with workers.
All this to protect their overpriced coffee.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Overpriced coffee returns. That's it's just
overpriced. They burn their beans.
I love their nitro cold brew. I gotta say, it's so good.
I mean, if you're slumming it and there's no other coffee place around, a mocha is okay. But I'm just saying, $5 for a coffee is a lot, especially if you're giving it to a giant union busting corporate conglomerate.
Yeah, agreed. If you're going to pay $5 for a coffee, we have tons of incredible local coffee shops. Definitely check them out.
Or
they are worth
what I advise is I just go to the grocery store and buy the big bag of Dunkin' Donuts French roast, and I just brew it home. That's the best.
You're a French roast guy, huh? I'm not.
Oh yeah, they don't even give you the option at Starbucks. It's always just the dark coffee. They don't have like the different. Is that what they call them? Roasts?
I feel like blonde or like dark roast, because they don't. I feel like I like a medium.
They've only got 2 though.
I think we've transitioned from corporations behaving badly to coffee talk.
To coffee. Let's talk about.
So let's talk. I got myself a burr grinder during the lockdown, and oh my god, that's a life changer. You buy yourself, the whole bean coffee, and what I like to do, which is a total boss move, is you buy more than one variety of whole bean. You get like the medium roast of something. You buy a dark roast. You mix those beans together and come up with your own custom grind.
I do that when I'm leaving one bag of beans and moving into another bag of beans. And actually, I do find that I enjoy the coffee that gets mixed almost more than them singularly. So I think you might have something with that, Ed.
Speaking of bags of beans,
and Eleanor has it perfectly right. You got the burr grinder, you got the combo whole beans that you're grounded up, and you put them into a flavor improving mug. The mugs that improve flavor. Oh my goodness, it is the best cup of coffee you will ever drink. So, flavor improving mugs that improve flavor. Here on Coffee Talk on Chicago.
And there you
Corner.
go. You don't need that $5 coffee in that case, but Starbucks regular drip coffee is shit. Anyway, so Starbucks also, so you might be saying like, but like supply and chain and profits, and what if they're not doing that well? No, don't you worry. If you were concerned, if you had your panties in a twist about whether or not Starbucks is going to survive, rest assured, they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
They made, oh my God, yeah. Starbucks posted a record revenue between April and June when it made $8.2 billion in revenue over a single quarter. Nationwide, now they are closing down 16 stores, 2 of which were unionized and 1 was on its way. And unions are claiming that these closures are due to retaliation, when the company is saying that it's due to crime in the areas that they're shutting down. But basically,
bullshit.
I think this article said it was a 9% increase over the previous quarter. So they are.
Every time someone takes a pause, I'm like, there's the place to drop it in. But then by the time I hit the button, they keep talking. So I'm sorry for the interruptions. I'm just like, that's a perfect place to like punctuate this. So
no, I don't get concerned about
it.
Okay. Yar. So no, I think that the video clips, they crack me up.
That's why I push them.
I love them. I'm a big fan. So that is what Starbucks is up to. I am so enlivened and inspired by these workers that have been pushing for unionization across the country, not only in Starbucks, but in places like we see Amazon, and around the country. And now there's talk of a general worker strike. I know that is starting to bubble up, and I'm excited to see what workers are going to be doing. And I am here for it. And any of us who are maybe not able to strike as a worker, but can support them, I wish I had the websites ready, but there are several of websites that you can find and go to support these people who are planning worker strikes, so that when people do finally go on strike, they can be supported through the process, because literally people won't be getting paid at that time. And so it's going to it will be an everybody all hands on deck phenomenon when we do that and when we win.
Viva la revolution!
Indeed. Going back to the chat, I think Kathy piping in on the mail-in ballot, saying, be sure to mail in your ballots because that is the way to go. Easy peasy. But why don't you give us some decent candidates instead? Maybe that'll drive people to the polls. And then Miguel, the success of Starbucks Workers Union has inspired Chipotle Union, Trader Joe's Union, screw corporations, support local business. Yes, please. Indeed. Very good. Anything more on the unionization story?
Just checking the comments, but I think you pretty much covered it as best you could.
I did the best I could. Okay, you guys.
No, as best you could. Yeah, I mean, you covered all the all the points.
All right. I'm just joshing you, Jerry. Okay. I'm not that sensitive. I mean,
I know you're not. I do
cry easily, but not because I get my feelings hurt, but because everything makes me cry. So
yeah, well, that's why that's why I throw the drop-ins in, because if we weren't laughing, we'd be crying.
Exactly. Well, and apparently when you're laughing, when you're laughing, real laughing, authentically, there's no fear present. So that's also a nice little factoid. I don't know if it's a factoid. It's a little tidbit for you. Take it or leave it. Anyway, so I loved this story, Jerry. I think it was you who posted it. I would believe that it's you then.
Of course it was. For all the censorship and all the copyright strikes we get, it's nice to know we're not the only ones.
That's exactly how I was going to start the story, Jerry. I was going to say, all right.
Oh,
Jerry,
sorry. I didn't even talk with you to steal it.
Oh no, don't even worry about it. No, we're right in stride with each other. So my script says, all right, Jerry, it seems we're not the only ones getting superfluous. I can never say that word.
Or Hardlands Media, who's getting it all the time. Yep.
Yep. So Google terminated the Cook County Court System's YouTube account, which Chief Judge Timothy Evans' office has used for over 2 years to provide live stream access to court proceedings. Oh boy.
So here's the
I beg your pardon. What did you say?
So YouTube, which is part of Google, which is this global multi-billion-dollar operation, doesn't have live eyes on the Cook County Court System's live feed website to realize there are no terms of violation. This is a public feed, and certainly there are going to be things on there that not everybody's going to be paying attention to or might be offended by, but it's not hate speech, it's not violence, it's not these fucking algorithms, man. They just automatically do things, and you've got to like jump through hoops to say, hey, anybody awake over there to actually look at this and consider context and understand that, like, context is the whole, I think, foundation of it. AI and algorithms cannot understand context in anything, which is why everybody's getting these bullshit strikes that you appeal them and you get them lifted. But you shouldn't have to go through this problem to begin with. If they paid teams of live eyes, something pops up, they've got the money. They should have the staff to look at it and take context and not make people wait weeks for this.
Exactly,
It's a
Jerry.
small company, fine. This is bullshit. This, you know what this is. You know what this is, guys. You know what this is. As I'm trying to like struggle to get to my drop in.
Blowjob.
Listen, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And I can't. There we go.
Blowjob! Blowjob!
All right, Ed, go ahead.
But Jerry, I mean, if they spend all that money on humans with actual living wage and and everything to be reviewing the videos, how are they supposed to get those massive, gigantic corporate profits?
Exactly.
I mean, look at this page. Look at this page right now.
Rich people, Jerry. You
Look
gotta
at this
think about the
page.
rich people.
We're reading a story about YouTube taking down the public Cook County Court videos, right? All on top of like ads for underwear that are probably Google driven for ad revenue.
And those are targeted at you, Jerry. Those are targeted at you.
I did buy some gym shorts off of Amazon, and I already have them, so I don't need to anymore. Why do they like advertise shit that I've already bought?
They're like, maybe you need more. Maybe you need more fancy underwear, Jerry. That's why.
Well, it's not underwear. It was like workout pants because Jerry don't wear underwear.
Woo! Let those balls fly free, Jerry.
TMI.
No, never TMI with me, Jerry. Never TMI with me.
Jerry goes commando. All right.
I went commando all through college.
So hold on,
and then I didn't want to wash my clothes so frequently anymore. So
I have an excuse. I have an excuse because oh my god, there's the AI.
Yeah, there they are. There's the porn bots in the chat.
What did I say? Commando.
I said balls. I said let your balls fly free.
So we have breaking information here. We just got access to the internal workings of the algorithm that is currently managing YouTube. Here it is. It's like they come out and they're like, okay, let's look around and see if there's anything weird that's violating. How's it going, buddy? Let's see what channel we can shut down today.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, no, not that. Wait, here it is.
Pay no attention to the man sitting on the car.
Wait, was that a DMCA violation?
I don't know if he was sitting on the car or pulling a Jimmy McGill, like, dumping through the sunroof. Maybe he was dumping into the engine. For anyone who's watched Better Call Saul. I actually have a good excuse for the commando thing, guys. It's like it's difficult when you wear your artificial leg it gets pinchy. So that's the only reason.
Yeah. All of my targeted
ads. There's a legitimate
reason.
reason.
All of my targeted ads are for, women with small titties, bras that are tiny. So I'm just like, thanks, Facebook. So it's all good. We're all on the same team here. So yeah, so I thought that this was a very incredible story to bring up. That now even our courthouse, and this does have some serious implications. Family members are tuning in to see what's happening with their loves at their babies, and they can't freaking see them. And you go to YouTube, you're expecting to sit in and see what the destiny of your brother, your husband, your dad, is. And it's you come up to a page that says this account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy against spam, deceptive practices, or misleading content, or other terms of service violations. So
I just thought of something. Isn't it fascinating that YouTube can't block out the sex bot AIs from their live chats the way they can block everybody else sharing something legitimate on their channels that they pull down? Very ironic, I think.
The YouTube AI and the sex bot AIs are,
the channel is there, but they have nothing. You can't see anything on it.
Hanky. What does that mean, Vince? Hanky. Oh, strange. Weird.
Yeah, it's all gone. Nothing there.
All gone. Like my dad, all gone. That's what my
Nothing
dad
to see. Crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. It's insane. Let me see if there's anything else that we didn't hit in that story. Nope. We good. Yeah, so it is a crazy story, and it's happening. These taking people down off of YouTube is happening everywhere.
Well,
and when people are making their livings, that's the real issue. Is when we're looking at. We were just in a meeting on Sunday, talking about how much of a financial hit the company that is the umbrella company for Chicago Corner, HLM, and the streaming that we do on Twitch and the reaction videos, blah, 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 like how much of a hit they've taken just because of how YouTube is showing up, their AdSense, and then also just getting like basically banned and docked so many times for things that shouldn't be banned or shouldn't be taken down.
Well, something that stands out to me in the article is their reasons. People who visited the channel received this message. This account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy against spam, deceptive practices, and misleading content or other terms of service violations.
Yeah, that's what I had said. I don't know.
From a court stream. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I may have been like struggling with the board here and I missed that.
So
yeah, no, all good. I just mentioned it, and that's why I was like, it's just really. I mean, I don't know what's going down on those, those live streams, but maybe we should be watching.
Well, look, there could be, they could be discussing violent altercations. They could be, trying, sexual assaults. There's a whole variety of horrible things.
And
but to the article's
human element too. There could be a human element too, Jerry.
Yeah, family members are used to watching bail hearings from home. They can't get down there.
But then people could be reporting the channel.
Wow.
Falsely reporting.
I guess that is also a thing, I suppose.
So, you got somebody who just decides, oh yeah, hey, let's get these guys knocked off of YouTube. So let's report them for spam.
I will tell you a related story. Speaking of that, and I don't know if it had to do with YouTube streams, but a friend of mine who's a public defender told me that court proceedings during the pandemic, I think, were public through Zoom. I think they may have been because people couldn't go to the courts. Yes, so what would happen is if you were a defendant in a Zoom call and you were dealing with the judge and your lawyer, there would be people who would be on the Zoom call who weren't actually lawyers, private messaging the defendants about sending them money to help speed the process up. And defendants were getting defrauded by people who were taking advantage because, of course, they don't have any safeguards in place. I guess I don't know how they would. But, I mean, to your point, Ed, that there's something nefarious going on. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe let's put on our little speculation hats. What if, people were trying to get the YouTube site down so that they got to go back to Zoom calls where they can scam defendants again? Who knows?
Yeah, whoever.
If I didn't have a conscience, I might try it.
Whoever would have the advantage in not having those streamed. Yeah, absolutely. And then Pat says maybe folks don't want their relatives' trial shown on YouTube. So that there also might be a point of sensitivity for folks too. So I didn't even consider like the human element and the possibility that people might have flagged or reported them. So.
But you know what? It is public information. And if you're I guess it is kind of a tricky situation here because clearly you are innocent until proven guilty. And, too many people think you're guilty the moment you go in there.
Right.
If a case, resolves itself the way it shouldn't matter what's on a court video because it's basic. If you're in the right, you got vindication that, that someone was trying to screw you and you came out of it all right. And if you're guilty, part of the system is being tried and, either by a judge or whoever to determine, what the best course of action is. So while I can understand families might be sensitive to that with their trials, whether you see them on YouTube or go to the court yourself, and you can, it's a public forum for our justice system. So,
Yeah. All right. Well,
well, I can't argue with you there, Pat.
All right. So Chicago public school students returned to classrooms yesterday after a shorter than usual summer. The start date is one of the earliest in modern memory as the nation's third largest school district embarked on their, quote, recovery year following several COVID-19 disruptions. Back in 2001, CPS had
The
made the
extra
choice to shift back.
traffic. Sorry, the extra
Go ahead.
traffic made me late
Oh,
for
did you
work
feel it in
yesterday.
the
Yeah.
traffic? Yeah. How
Like,
much later? How much longer
kids
did
are,
you
I was
commute
like,
now?
it made me 5 minutes late. I'm like, damn, I gotta leave 5 minutes
That
late.
probably contributed along with the construction to why I was late to
There's
kids
so
show
much.
today.
Did the construction up like tenfold
Western-
in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah,
It
and
did,
Western Avenue's
right?
got some
Still.
patches too.
And still, the state is not patching the inbound Kennedy where it needs to. It's like, I mean, don't get me started on a pothole rant. So,
We covered that last Friday though with
Yeah, the
creative
mosaics.
solutions.
Yeah, totally. Very creative solutions. So back in 2001, CPS had made the choice to shift back to the older tradition of starting school up after Labor Day. This way, families can finish their summer with the long weekend. And that way, heat isn't such a prevalent issue because, as we know, the month of August still tends to be very hot. And I'm not sure about all of the schools in the public schooling system, but I know that my school coming up, and I didn't go to public school in Chicago. We didn't have air conditioning though, so starting later in the year was definitely much preferred because otherwise you were sweltering in the classroom. Very hard to learn when you're incredibly uncomfortable and your ass is sticking to the seat. The pandemic is still certainly a thing for many employees, parents, and students. Around 125 adults and a dozen students are reported testing positive for COVID-19 since Thursday. And according to CPS's online data, that's according to CPS's online data tracker. Those who test positive for the virus are directed to stay home for 5 days, no matter their vaccination status. And CPS is continuing its weekly in-school testing program. More than 90,000 students signed up for the free initiative last year. Everyone is required to fill out a new consent form to participate this year. More than 6,700 students have already signed up, according to CPS data. So that is one. That's one situation that, of course, the students are dealing with. It is not mandatory to wear masks, though a lot of students are, and a lot of teachers are choosing to wear masks anyway. And then it does sound like their in-school testing program has been successful. So hopefully people will stay as safe as possible when they're going back to school. I know that vaccination rates for younger people are lower, but I also do know that the COVID virus has also been passed around quite a bit as well. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that most people stay safe, and if they do come down with COVID, it's a light case and one that doesn't result in anything that's too long term. Even though, I think with every person it's just different. CPS is also facing other challenges besides COVID-19, including national shortage of bus drivers and teachers. Several parents have taken to social media to complain about the length of their child's bus route or that their child hasn't been routed at all. Because the bus driver shortage turned into a fiasco last year, CPS said it focused on prioritizing diverse learner students whose education plans require transportation and homeless students. CPS is also offering families of diverse learners $500 a month if they find alternate transportation, and has promised to pay $25 a day if the stipend is not accepted and the student isn't routed. Wow. I thought I was pretty amazed by that. The district has raised starting hourly pay to $20 to $25 to keep bus drivers from going to the suburbs. He said that more than 15,600 students have been routed, with over 80% of the routes less than an hour long. He said he is personally evaluating the 2 to 3% of routes deemed to be very, very long. And from what I understand, those routes are like 90 minutes long, taking some kids an hour and a half to get to school.
You know how hot it is too in those buses?
Ugh,
not just the schools, but the buses too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, go ahead, Ed.
There's lots of listings for school bus drivers in Chicago. If you're looking for work and you have a decent job record, they'll even train you to get your commercial driver's license. I believe. I'm looking at some of them right now. You can make up to like 27 $27 an hour. I'm just checking Indeed right now. You just type bus driver, and you can see all the listings there. Obviously, there's a lot of people looking for bus drivers right now.
Yes.
I'm actually
sometimes it takes
surprised
a
at
while
it.
to get trained.
I'm surprised at $27 an hour they're not filling more of those positions, because that's a decent wage.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a
not
better
all of
wage
them
than
are
15.
Yeah, not all of them are starting that way. It depends on. I think it depends on the bus company. Some of them are starting at $18.25 an hour.
Okay.
Some are starting at 21. Some of them are like for Greyhound buses. I'm just seeing they're offering a $10,000 bonus plus they'll pay you 50 grand.
Greyhound is busing kids to
$65.
schools also, or you just mean general Greyhound?
I'm just in general. I don't know.
Okay.
I doubt.
Are they the
Greyhound
bus
is,
drivers of Greyhound or
but
Greyhound
they're looking
buses?
for. I mean, but yeah, you're just looking. I'm just looking at bus driver jobs right now.
Oh,
and,
Greyhound, the company is
Yeah.
hiring for that much. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying there were offers being made to Greyhound bus drivers for, but
Chicago.
Greyhound's
Okay,
offering
here's
$10,000 sign-on
here's
bonus.
one that's a CTA bus driver. They're looking for a full timer, starting at $24.64 an hour, which isn't terrible. but,
24.64, yeah, that's
for
not bad.
starting.
Mhm.
I don't know how many hours they'll be working, but if that includes overtime, that could be a pretty decent chunk of change. If you're willing to deal with
That's what I was
passengers
going to say. Yep, if you want to deal with the
and
public, which
and
is
Chicago potholes and traffic and stuff.
and so much. I would never want to be a bus driver. I don't think. I think I'd be good at it, but I don't think I want to do it.
But there are a lot of people who would be qualified, who could do that, who would be able to handle it, and like I said, usually the only drawback for anyone who's looking for more people to drive buses right now is that the amount of time it will take to train them to properly operate them. So, but yeah, I mean, the city of Chicago itself, they knew the shortage was coming. They knew it was there. They had plenty of time to solicit and get the bus drivers that they need. There really is little excuse for them to not offer a decent wage, make sure people get properly trained, and get the people that they need to bring these kids to school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ooh. Well, the district's also been affected by the national teacher shortage. We've talked about it on the show already, and that basically, what was it, like 40%? It was like 40 to 55% of teachers basically across the state of Illinois are quitting. And Martinez said, or they've already quit. And Martinez said the vacancy rate is hovering around 4%. There are 22,000 positions, 900 are still left to fill. That's
oh my God.
Bonkers.
Huge.
At a news conference Monday outside the back of the Yards High, CTU, Chicago Teachers Union, drew attention to large class sizes. You're going to see class sizes inching upwards of 30 to 35 students. Students can't be their best selves, and teachers certainly can't under those conditions. So we're hopeful for this school year. We are demanding that we fill some of these critical vacancies in bilingual ed, in special education, CTU Vice President Jackson Potter said.
I think Pat Brannigan made the best comment in the chat. If the government and media would stop dissing teachers and public employees, maybe we would not have these shortages. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the other thought that crossed my mind is that this part of the reason for some of these shortages were the mandates that took place last year for jabcination.
For vaccinations.
So some people never came back from that. In fact, Hardlands just did a story on hospitals where the state is basically going to have to pay out on a lawsuit for all those. Was it nurses or doctors that
I think I
that
had
were
heard that
let go
story.
from hospitals?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
what are we gonna do? We have to find a way to adapt and learn from all of these things and move forward.
Yeah. Well, and also consider, like it's just, we have a lot of barriers in front of us. And I think that's what's being laid out in this report. If you think about a couple weeks ago, we also talked about how far behind, or maybe it was last week, how far behind students are because of the remote learning, and that students, are generally like anywhere from 2 to 4 months behind him, and some of the more, disenfranchised, underserved communities up to 6 months behind in their school, like in what level they should be learning at right now. So if you consider they're taking forever to get routed to school, they're in a classroom that's 35, maybe more. The teachers are burned out, like there's just confusion. You never know, if you're coming or going. That's not a very good environment for learning. I have no envy for kids in school these days at all, nor for teachers, because the whole COVID situation really just messed everything.
It's like we're all coming back from after the Infinity Wars blip.
It is. The reality where Captain America did not return all of the Infinity Stones properly.
Yeah. Well, and if that weren't enough, there's a heightened fear that for parents and students of, due to the rampant school shootings we're experiencing constantly in the country. Thursday, CPS last week conducted an active shooter drill with the City Office of Emergency Management and Communications, the Chicago Police Department, and Chicago Fire Department. Police officers and firefighters rolled stretchers into Julian High for the first cross-agency active shooter drill since 2018. The drill was not open to the media. When parents send their children back to school this Monday, families need to know that there is a plan to keep their students safe. CPS CEO Pedro Martinez said during a news conference at Percy Julian High School in Washington Heights. Without going into much detail, CPS announced a new partnership with Safer Schools Together, an agency that delivers digital threat assessment, violence, and bullying prevention training to schools and communities. CPS Safety and Security Chief Jadine Chow said CPS conducts 3,800 annual drills, including fire, tornado, allergen, and active shooter drills. Every school is required to conduct at least 6 of them each year. Staff members and teachers volunteered their participation Thursday, but there were no students on hand, as these drills can be traumatizing to children.
Yeah, and everybody else.
Yep.
I was thinking there's a reason they're not allowing public viewing, because they don't want potential active shooters to know how to get around the safeguards.
Well, that's actually also a really great point, Jerry, that this article didn't mention and I didn't think of. So.
And it's insanity
I'll send you the bill.
That they even have to have these.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a massive failure.
Huge failure.
Well, yeah. Look, if Uvalde is any example of, the cops down there in their cosplay with their big cowboy hats and their $1,000 body armor, the fear for their lives while kids are getting mowed down.
Yeah.
Obscene. You can't rely on the police department. That's why you got to go through this stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Fend for yourselves.
Because they're not there to protect us. They're there to protect property. Let's not go too off into a rabbit hole detour, but I just wanted to make sure everyone was clear on that.
Everybody is clear on that. And if they weren't, they are now. 100%. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, and this is going to be completely inappropriate.
Moving on.
You're
so much better at it than me, Jerry. God damn it. Anyway, my voice is so like scratchy and deep that it's very hard for me to do anything super fun with it. But
so are you telling me you can't do another Sarah Palin impression? Because your reference earlier, going off of track here, reminded me of a funny meme that I posted on Facebook the other day. And I just wanted to update everybody in regards to Sarah Palin. Little comedic interlude here. Sarah Palin's transformation into Willem Dafoe is almost complete.
Awful. That is from, okay, so I was actually watching, oh my God.
I wasn't kidding. Can the Spider-Man come out to play?
I thought that was a Spider-Man outtake.
Yeah, no, that's not Willem Dafoe. That is her Miss Alaska, Miss Baked Alaska.
This is
but, we shouldn't make fun of people's appearance and stuff, but
there's enough about her to make fun of.
With the Botox
yeah.
All right.
Stop.
Oh, her
That's
word
true.
salad is enough,
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of segues, we're going to talk about Cameo, which actually Sarah Palin can be bought on Cameo if you want her to leave any of your friends a message. So check it out. It was funny that this story came across today or whenever it came across, because I was watching John Oliver last night and he got sent a Cameo from Sarah Palin. And then this story popped up about Cameo, and the whole Rob Blagojevich video on Friday also kind of feeds into this story as well. Chicago-based Cameo, which built a business out of selling recorded celebrity video greetings, is adding live video chats across its talent roster of actors, athletes, and offbeat stars. Starting Thursday, fans can schedule a 10-minute video call with the likes of former pro wrestler Mick Foley, Sean Astin, who played Samwise, the Hobbit of Lord of the Rings. He can't be doing that bad, can he? Come on.
They must really be struggling for roles if this is what they're doing.
Rudy. I mean, how?
Oh, I love Rudy. That's my favorite Sean Astin movie. And I'm not even a football fan, and I love that movie.
The movie's good. That's why. Or Dorinda Medley of Real Housewives fame. I mean, come on. Sean Astin, what are you doing? I'm so disappointed. Anyway.
It's probably really easy money for them.
Yeah.
You know, they just sit in front of their laptop and they go down the list for like an hour and then end up making a ton of cash.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it if people paid me, $900 a pop to make them videos. I'm all over it.
Man, if I could find it, a friend of
I'm wondering if we need to do that. Have the Chicago Corner.
That's a brilliant idea. One of my friends had baby girl Lisa from 90 Day Fiance send me a birthday cameo 2 years ago, and I'm looking for it. If I find it before the end of the show, I'll share it.
Is such incredible trash, and I love it. Anyway.
Oh yeah, well that's why she had her do it, because we binge watch on it every once in a while.
My mom and I, when I go to visit her, we watch it. It's awesome. Anyway, launched 5 years ago, and it's actually here in Chicago. Cameo broke new ground in the star-fan relationship by offering personalized video messages from celebrities that have been used for everything from birthday greetings and prom invitations to marriage proposals. Holy buckets, that's hilarious. Last year, Cameo introduced a 2-minute virtual meet and greet, which has been expanded into the equivalent of a celebrity Zoom call. The talent roster for recorded video greetings has thousands of celebrities, including actors, athletes, comedians, musicians, social media influencers. A personalized video from actress Lindsay Lohan starts at $500. Musician Kenny G.
I wonder what else you can get from Lindsay for an extra $500, but I digress.
I don't know.
I found the samples.
Barry Williams from the Brady Bunch will record a video for as little as $140. A video chat with former Green Bay Packers quarterback Brett Favre starts at $1,200. Come on. Aren't you doing okay? God. Former New York City mayor and Donald Trump advisor Rudy Giuliani is offering video calls at $975 apiece.
Oh, my gosh.
What? It's not 9/11?
Good one.
Oh, that would have been a good little marketing ploy there. He missed a good opportunity there, Ed. We should let Giuliani know that he should reprice himself. And then a live call with Wayne Knight, who played Newman on Seinfeld, runs at $990, which is 3 times the cost of his recorded video messages. So if you have a live call with him, it's $990. Now, Blago, our favorite former Illinois governor.
Speaking of Blago.
Shifty Henry said to Buck, for heaven's sake, no one's looking, now's a chance to make a break. Bugsy turned to Shifty and he said, Nix, Nix, I wanna sink a run and what I get a might kick, so let's rock. Everybody, let's rock.
That's community service.
How the mighty have fallen.
You can get his live video chat starting at $300.
He's cheaper than Lindsay. And I thought Lindsay was cheap.
That was Lindsay is for a message.
Oh, she doesn't do the video.
$500 for a message.
Wow.
Blago is $300 for a live call.
I wonder what he charges for weddings like that clip we just saw. Very interesting.
I don't know. I don't know, but I would definitely go to that wedding. So yeah, so if you want a celebrity, probably not your favorite celebrity, but a washed up has-been celebrity, to give your friend a recorded message. Oh, Lindsay looks good.
If I pull up
we
my
got some
Instagram
samples here. Let's see what she sent. Wait, do I have sound on this thing? Hold on.
That doesn't really look like Lindsay Lohan without the makeup, does it?
she looks better. She's been taking care of herself, unless it's those
No,
filters.
she looks beautiful. She looks really good.
Yeah, well, she's always been a pretty girl, but a lot of the cigarettes and alcohol, like for a period, took a toll on her.
Yeah, I remember when she was going through all of her shit. She's about my age, and I remember thinking to myself, man, thank God I'm poor. Because if I was rich like her and had nobody to tell me no, I would be in the exact same position. I did. I was like, there, by the grace of God knows me. I'm just like, I'm so grateful I never had the money to buy a bunch of Coke, because I would have. Trust me.
I think I'm scrolling through my.
This amazing song by Dante's, and you should definitely check it out because he's an amazing singer and really talented. Check it out. God bless.
Wow. Holy cow. She's hot.
All right. I found it. Let me bring it up here. Hang on.
So keep up the good work, and you can sit with us. Next up is our NAR segment video.
Oh, so you can.
Oh, she looks nice and looks like she's doing well. I'm happy for her.
Oh, so we could actually pay them to actually introduce things for us. That would be cool. That's an interesting
celebrity
thing.
endorsements.
Oh, that would be fun. Huh?
We got to find some celebrities from Chicago, though.
Like Blagojevich. Can we please?
I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste our words.
Blagojevich. And I don't know how to do a Blagojevich voice, so I'm just gonna do it like this and say that you should all watch Chicago Corner because it's effing golden.
It's effing golden. All right,
that's all we need, you guys. That's all we need. If we just have Blago giving us an endorsement, we'd skyrocket. I mean,
you're probably right. I was gonna say I don't know if I want to waste our war chest on that, but it couldn't hurt if it went to TikTok. All right.
We'll see when we have more money. When we have more money to throw.
Yeah. When we break maybe 5,000, then we'll think about it. All right. Here's for you, 90-day fiance fiends, baby girl Lisa.
Yes.
I'm here to wish you a very special happy birthday from your friend Bethan and me, baby girl Lisa. Even though she's so grateful for your friend.
Okay, that's enough. But I was just like,
we can get
because we would watch the show and be like, this woman has no sense of self-awareness. I mean, it was entertaining, but I was delighted to get this because it was such like a freaky birthday gift. But I'm like, how much did you spend on that? Oh, come on, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Cray souffle is what I say.
But I guess it's fun depending on the celebrity that you get.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's any harm in it. I quite enjoy it. I think it's a wonderful idea.
If you got money to throw away.
I mean, I think it's hilarious. I mean, I don't know if I would be if I was a celebrity, I don't know if I'd be into, selling my time in that way. But when the money comes that easy, I can't really speak to it at this point. Like if I could make $500 for what a 12-second video, as Miguel says.
And I do think that this probably skyrocketed during the pandemic too, with everybody stuck at home that wasn't lucky enough to like get into some kind of production during the pandemic.
Well, and all that government money we're getting, we're all fucking rich. So
of course we are.
Hello.
Well, they're going to get it all back when they dispatch those 85,000 IRS agents next year to check our Venmos and see where we're pinching pennies.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Cameo site and I typed Chicago and it's got all the sports teams. And they've got Cubs radio announcer Pat Hughes. You can get him to do a video for $60. They got Cubs manager David Ross for $399.
Too bad Harry Carey isn't still with us to lift a drink and sing, "Hey, take me out to the ball game."
Yeah.
That was better than the hologram, Jerry, I gotta say.
It was better than what?
They had on the Field of Dreams game, they had a Harry Carey hologram. I think.
Oh, hologram. Oh, yeah. The hologram you shared with me. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That's creepy.
It was kind of weird.
No. Well, we too. All right, guys. We're going to wrap up the show. This is it.
Last story, or we're skipping stories?
Which one is this one?
Oh,
here?
the casino update?
I had a casino update. How long is this video? Listen to me.
3 minutes.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's update everybody on the casino. Here we go.
Here we go.
I didn't prep any of this. I just saw that there was a casino update. So let's see what the update is. We're doing it live. This is all news to me right now, too.
Chicago casino is taking a step forward. Bally's Corporation filed its application with the Illinois Gaming Board for a $1.7 billion casino resort along the Chicago River, and a temporary casino site could open by next summer. Casey Toner from the Better Government Association is here to talk more about what to expect next in this process. And good morning to you, Casey.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you again. So tell us, what details do we know from the latest filing here?
Well, last week they put in their application to open up this mega resort casino in the River West neighborhood. And this is just another step in the decades in the making plan to bring a casino to the city of Chicago. And, while this is just another step, there's still plenty of pitfalls along the way.
Yeah, how important is it to get this casino up and running by 2026?
The casino is very, very important, both to Bally's and to the city of Chicago. When this is up and running, the city of Chicago expects to collect more than $200 million annually for its fire and pension funds, which are severely underfunded. And
they'll still say that they're broke.
The city of Chicago really needs this money. And Bally's, from their perspective, as part of this process, they already signed a check to the city of Chicago for $40 million. So they have a lot riding on the line as well.
Right. And the details here about the temporary casino, I know it was talked about in River North.
Yes, the plan right now is they would like to build a temporary casino at the Medina Temple. Do
you know how much it's going to cost?
So silly.
How much it's going to cost to build something that's temporary?
It's just
then tear it down
silly. Why? Because you're in a fucking hurry for gambling.
That's right.
What the fuck?
Yes, and
That's right.
It is pronounced Medina Temple. You yuts.
River North, and
I never understood the
by next
temporary
summer.
one. That idea.
But as we've seen out in Rockford, the city of Rockford also wanted to build a temporary casino, and it took them 2 years to get it up and running after they submitted their application to the Illinois Gaming Board. So next summer might be a bit ambitious, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've got a lot of questions over kind of how that would work in River North, especially if people go there to gamble, and how many people maybe from outside of the city of Chicago, and traffic and everything else. So have people
They don't care.
in River
They
North,
don't care.
how are they feeling? Have they warmed up to this idea?
They fought the
No,
idea,
not
and
really.
After they lost,
They were never asked.
Are still trying to lobby right now to make some changes. There's a group called the River North Residents Association, and they have real concerns about an entertainment center that's set for the outside. They want that scrapped and replaced with a park, and they also want this extended security perimeter because, again, there's going to be a lot of people coming from outside of the city of Chicago with many different states in mind, and the residents of River North want to feel safe and protected.
Okay. Casey Toner with the Better Government Association. We really appreciate it this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Updates
Okay.
as plans for the Chicago casino move forward. You can also find our
So 3 beans, not just the 2, and Medina Temple. Those were the updates.
Yeah. 3 beans, not just the 2. Yeah, I never understood the temporary one. I feel like first of all, I feel like it spends more money that's unnecessary. And don't you think it will take away the available money, funding, manpower that it will take to build the permanent one? I don't know. Maybe I think too linearly.
When city council was asked about that expense and waste of money, their response was, that was for you, Kira. I
Thank
finally
you.
dug that one up.
I know. I'm so proud that I actually have a contribution on the board. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. I always have such a good time with you on Tuesday nights. I always very much look forward to getting online and shooting the shit and not only, sharing about what's going on in Chicago and in Illinois, but also learning from you guys and from our audience, because I don't know, I just think that we have a kick-ass community here, and I'm so excited to be growing it with you guys and with 99 Perspectives and with all of our dedicated fans. So thank you everybody for joining us live and contributing to the chat and contributing to us as commentators. And we hope we get to see you in the future. Join Jerry on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. where you will get to see footage of yours truly wrestling. Bye-bye for now.
Get out. And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.